it's how most of you guys find us. So I'm really happy that most of the students here left a little review for Le Wagon, because this is how people find us and change their lives. So thank you so much for that again. And just for you to know, right now, last week, we celebrated our new milestone. We have a 9,000 students community. And for the current students, I think they already know that we're very, very active on Slack. Like if you go on the job channel, like I was on it today to show to some people, like every single day we have 10 job posts at least from London, Paris, Tokyo, and something I was noticing too for the first time, that they were all remote. So I think for us guys, we're entering a new exciting phase of our career. And now you have no excuses to come visit me in Rio again, because you can work remotely from here. Okay, Steven, I'm looking at you. And now you can do Le Wagon in 40 cities all around the world. And actually, we just launched Mauritius. I don't know how to say it in English. Mauritius, the beautiful island in the Indian Ocean. So another school that you can visit. I know that before COVID, I used to receive a lot of visits from former students who did Le Wagon in Montreal, Melbourne, Bali, and we're just visiting. And it was always awesome to meet people from other Le Wagon cities. I hope that we can do this in the next months, years, I hope. Let's hope for the best. Again, I'd like to clear one doubt about Le Wagon. A lot of people think that Le Wagon is only to become a developer. Well, it's not true at all. Mostly, like you will see tonight, a lot of people have different careers. So of course, I'd say in Brazil, we actually made a survey. Half of our students, become a developer, yes. And then it varies a lot, like what kind of developer, full stack, front end, back end, DevOps, SQL, I don't know, something. And then the other half, they do something else, whether they launch their startup, they work in a company, in a tech company, but with another field like marketing, legal, and like these tech skills helps them talk with developers, helps them hire people, helps them understand better the field. This is a kind of skills right now that is very, very demanded. Fun fact for the Brazilians, I think everybody here knows Nubank, a big online bank in Brazil. For every single employee, like no matter their field in the company, every single employee, when they enter the companies, they have 1 week of SQL advanced classes, because they want to make sure that every single employee of the company can use and abuse their data and make conclusions and grow the company. So just another fun fact that these skills are demanded, and if they don't find them in you, they will teach it to you inside the company. And again, we have 2 formats, the web dev and the data science one. And little reminder for the alumni ex-students, you have a discount if you want to do the data science bootcamp in Rio with me again. And for both formats, we have the full time, meaning you do crazy 9 weeks with us, Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. until 7 p.m. Or if you're less of a crazy loony like me, like other people, you do the part-time. It's still very hard because you're working during the day and you're doing the bootcamp at night and on Saturday. So during 6 months, you have no Saturdays, really tough. But it's fun, it's rewarding, and you can change your career in just 6 months. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the chat, ask me later. My WhatsApp is on the website. And again, little disclaimer, we have classes starting in April, in March for the part-time data science, in July for the part-time web dev. And something very, very important related to dates, I'd like to highlight that we have a selection process for that. So for this whole selection process, I'd say like you should plan like 1 week, but the most important thing you should plan before doing the bootcamp is the prep work. No matter which bootcamp you do, web dev or data science, you will have to do a preparation work for you to start the bootcamp on a good basis. And when I see people applying to the bootcamp 4 days before the bootcamp, desperate to do the bootcamp, I'm always very sad because I have to refuse them, because in 4 days, you cannot make 60 hours of prep work and have a successful bootcamp. So if you're interested in the bootcamp, in any classes of this year, please make sure that you plan out this carefully, that you apply early enough that you have time to do the prep work later on. Okie dokie, no more surprise, okay? And again, thank you so much for being here tonight, for both the guests and the alumni. Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Meetup, Eventbrite. And yeah, we do a lot of cool free events about programming, entrepreneurship, design. It's always free, it's always cool. It's in English and Portuguese. Tonight is in English because the city of Rio de Janeiro, the classes are in English. And yeah, thank you so much. And let's start. Let's go straight into the good questions now. So I think I'd like to start by asking every single alumni, oh my God, stressful, to do a very short introduction, like 20 seconds, just say your name, what you did before the bootcamp. Berenice is running away from me. What you did before the bootcamp and what you're doing now, okay? Just that, no need to tell your life story, like just to give a basis for every single guest so that they know who to ask questions to. Okay, dokie? Let's start. Who wanna be first? Or should I point fingers? I can point fingers. Yuri, you will go first.
Okay.
Ready?
Hello, yeah. Hello, guys. I'm Yuri. I worked on the financial market before the Wagon. I graduated in the middle of last year, and now I'm software developer working at Dorel Juvenile. It's a consumer goods company.
Thank you, Yuri. Steven, you want to be next?
Sure. My name is Steven. Before Wagon, I was an accountant. Currently, I'm a developer working at Vtex, a Brazilian e-commerce platform.
Thank you, Steven. So talking about Vtex, let's call another Vtex colleague of yours. Bernardo, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Bernardo. I finished the bootcamp on December last year. And today I still work at Vale with business development, but I'll be working at Vtex beginning of March. So it was a movement that I wanted to do. I wanted to make a transition to the tech sector, and Wagon provided me this. So I'll be working there. So probably Steven's colleague real soon. Thank you.
Cute, making you guys meet online. Okie dokie, Diogo, you want to be next?
Hi guys, my name is Diogo. I'm a former engineer, and I pretty much before Wagon I was studying for public jobs, but then I make the transition, and now I work in a French company. It's a consultant company that's based basically in cybersecurity, some software development and stuff like that. I work as a full stack, and pretty sure we're gonna talk a lot about this after everyone introduce themselves.
Yeah. Mariane from Diego's batch too.
Hello guys, I'm Marianne. Before Wagon, I was a marine engineer. And I'm sad that I not see too much girls here. I'm speaking for the girl power. Nowadays, I'm a software engineer, more for back-end in Tatango. We are SMS texting software messaging.
Thank you, Marianne. You're right, talking about girl power. What about Berenice? Introduce yourself, Berenice.
Hello, everybody. Well, I'm Berenice. I'm French, but I'm currently living in Brazil. I did the batch we finished on September, I think, and now I'm working as a freelancer from here in Brazil, but for my company in France.
Thank you, Berenice. And Berenice, powerful partners in crime, Bianca.
Hi everyone, my name is Bianca. Before I have backgrounds actually in the movie industry, but I also worked with sales, customer success, and digital marketing. And now I'm working with Berenice as a freelancer for a French company, and I'm also in Brazil.
Thank you, Bianca. Who's next? Pedro Artur, what's up? Cute.
Hello. What up? My name is Pedro. I used to be a graphic designer, actually like it editorial designer. I used to like work in publishing companies, like making books and magazines. But then I made the Le Wagon bootcamp, and now I work as a freelancer, as a web developer freelancer. But I also have like a day-to-day job at Spot Educação, which is a educational platform company here in Brazil. And yeah, I'm a full stack web developer for now. Yay.
Thank you, Pedro. Alice, you want to introduce yourself? I see that you're muted.
Okay. I didn't think I was going to talk, but yeah. So I was just a listener. So I did the bootcamp. I finished at December. I have like a startup, and I needed to do some stuff for the startup. So I'm working on the website and all the needs that the startup is showing as a e-commerce and everything else. So yes, that's what I'm doing right now, and to make my portfolio bigger, and then like search for a freelancer and other jobs like that.
Thank you, Alice. Okay, I think I forgot no one. Did I forget someone? If yes, speak. Oh, right timing. Alumni just entered. Just to answer a question I saw on the chat on YouTube, someone is asking if they can speak in Portuguese. Yes, you can ask your question in Portuguese. I will translate them for our international students, and we'll make it work. It's okay. Mahan, I saw that you just arrived. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh, you have to unmute.
Or is there another?
Okay. No, I'm here. Yeah. So hey. All right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Perfect. Yeah, I'm Mahan. I made the Le Wagon batch 330, but that was when was it? October 2019 until December. And now I'm working with Ruby on Rails as a full stack here in Rio.
Thank you, Mahan. Okay, now I think we're done, except if anyone would like to say something. It's now or never, guys. Good? Okay, then let's start with the questions. Students, current students, do you have any questions for any specific person in the room? Everybody's shy for the first question.
Yeah, I've got one. Not to a specific person. It's just for everyone who does freelancing job. What does it exactly mean doing freelancing in this stuff? Programming freelancing. What does it exactly mean?
I do not identify who's talking.
It's me, Gergo. Hi.
Who? I don't see your picture. Ah, Gergo. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. If someone does freelancing and would like to answer the question, what does it really mean for you to be freelancing? One answer. Okay. Berenice is going to answer for you.
Thanks.
Well, I just talk for me. It's just like freelancer is more about like looking for some opportunities of job, and like for us, in our example with me and Bianca, we are just looking for people who need a website, and basically we do like from scratch the website. It's about like looking for the opportunity of work, like answer to some like we are in competition with some other people, like to win the contract. But it doesn't matter, as we said, like you can be a freelancer like with straight coding, or you can be just web designer. You can enter in like any part of the process. It depends of what you want. You can just do like some UX design, or you can do the whole website. Like it's for me, in my case, it depends of what you want as well, like what you like as a job.
Okay, thanks. Got it.
And just to give a bit more information about Berenice's case, I know Berenice lives in Brazil, and she finds French contract doing, in French, what we call appel d'offres. Is like a semi-public entity, which does, I don't know how you say that in English, call for tender, according to Google Trad, whereas they have to open it to the competition. Everybody puts like their portfolio and they pick someone. So it's a super specific thing. But you can also do like on a website to look for freelance jobs. There are many ways to look for freelance jobs. You can go on the Slack channel of Le Wagon, where plenty of people post freelance projects that you can participate to. Someone else who does freelance would like to give their answer, because I assume it's different from every single person.
I started as a freelancer through the Le Wagon Slack channel. Someone needed help on a project that they got. Was building a platform for like a art management. And yeah, so through Le Wagon, I kind of just met the 3 other developers, and I went to Berlin for a couple months to work with them on this project. Freelancing is a little more difficult because after you're done, so I was kind of lucky where there was opportunity there and with the Slack channel, but after that, if you want to continue freelancing, you have to work finding your next customer, and you have to compete against other developers.
Yeah, can I add to that?
Yes.
If you intend to work as a freelancer, I think especially if you're starting, it's a good thing to try to build a network of people, because especially if you didn't have any previous experience in programming or as a developer and you just finished bootcamp, it's very unlikely that people will want to just trust you with a contract to work on something. So it's really important to try to build a network, because, for example, my first job as a freelancer after the bootcamp, I got this opportunity because a cousin of someone from my batch was looking for a developer to make a little, like a micro app, and she said, "Oh, I have this guy from my batch from Le Wagon. He's looking for freelance work. I know him. He's trustful." So she hooked me up, and then I got my first freelance job. And yeah, that's it. So if you intend to be a freelancer, try to build a network, and this means just letting people around you know that you're looking for work. Because I was telling a lot of people "Oh, I'm looking to do any kind of coding job, just let me know if you have anything," and she let me know. So that's how I got my first job, and from there you start to have more things to add to your portfolio, and you become much more attractive when trying to get a job to do, because you have already work, not just the work that you did on the bootcamp, but you have outside work, real work, professional work on your portfolio. So yeah, building a network is really, really important, at least was to me.
I see. So you. Oh, sorry.
Thank you, Pedro.
Oh, go on.
No, just the thing. Yeah. So basically, you need to self-advertise or do self-branding in order to.
Yeah.
More and to get more opportunities with that.
I think my connection just got really bad, or I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was me or.
Gergo, it might be yours. Are you still around, Gergo? Guys, sorry. Caio. I'm the one who had a bad connection. Gergo, I think as I didn't get your question.
It wasn't a question. It was just, so I basically need to do self-branding and self-advertising. And once you have your portfolio, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. It's like an upward spiral. It goes up, and then you get more famous.
Yeah. You aggregate to your to yourself as a developer. I wouldn't even say like self-advertise, just like letting people know that you're looking for work, you know. And making like I think it's nice to like start to have a portfolio page, like just showing what you can do and showing a little bit of yourself, you know.
And eventually you're gonna be in a better position to, when you get your first proper dev job, to get a better salary, you know, because when you came from boot camp, the people think like, oh yes, it's just a junior, and like, yeah, it's a good job, a good income, and so on. But when you have a good portfolio and you work as a freelancer in your past, you're gonna be a better position to negotiate your salary. So it's, in the end, it's very good to you.
Awesome tips, guys. I think it's important to remember that it's not gonna fall on your lap, for sure. You have to go after it. Okay, you cannot be a shy person, or like, you have to go after your contracts for sure. Other questions? Other comments about that? No? Okay, guys, questions for the alumni. Otherwise, I will take over. I see Julia, Fabio, Victor, Mario, Luis, Tyler. You don't have any questions for our alumni? Okay, question. How did you find your first junior dev job? Who would like to answer this question? If you can speak a bit about the process, like interview, technical test, interviews again.
I can talk if that's all right. Yeah.
Yes.
So my first job, it was actually networking too, because someone, a friend of mine, I think someone like from this company was looking for a junior dev, and he was like, oh, I know this guy, you can talk to him. So like the guy from the company reached out to me, and he asked me if I felt like comfortable working, because he knew that I just like finished the boot camp. I said that yes, I felt comfortable, and then he sent me a test, like a coding test. I did kind of bad on the coding test, and then we got like an interview, and he started like asking me like coding questions and like right on the spot live, and it was really, really bad. And like midway the interview, he was like, yeah man, you're not on the level that I need, like we should just finish it right here, but I appreciate like you're communicative, it's all right, it's just like you're just starting, maybe in 6 months I can reach out to you again and check if you're more comfortable with coding and everything. And then like I got my first freelance job, I finished it, and I posted on LinkedIn that I just finished my freelance job, and I did a little bit of like a self-advertising, right? And I guess this guy, he saw my post, And then he reached out to me, not in 6 months, but like, I think it was just 3 months later. And was like, oh, do you want to try again? Like, do you want to try the coding test again? And
Are you kidding
we
me?
do another interview. And we're like, yeah, sure, let's do it. And then, I did much better on the second try. And I got my first dev job. That was it, yeah.
That's such a funny story. They should have just trusted you on the first trial. They should have seen the talent in you.
There was not much talent there, just.
Well, 3 months later, they hired you. So I guess there was.
Yeah.
Who else would like to answer? How did you find your first job as a freelancer, no, as a dev, as something else, product manager, product owner?
I can also talk about it.
Yes. Mahan, put your video on. Show how
Wait.
beautiful you are.
Let's see.
Okay,
oh, hi. I just came home, so I was eating a lot. That's why I muted and. But now I'm full. I'm good. Okay. All right. And no, my first job, or the job I have, this is my first job. I got it by a guy who contacted me by LinkedIn, because I went. I was looking for a lot of jobs every day, but at the same time, I put a lot of effort on my LinkedIn profile. There are you can analyze your profile in kind of ways to see how good you are compared to other people, and still it's on the free part of the LinkedIn. So one day a guy just called me and said that we need some people, and if you want to join, you can go talk to the companies. And I was lucky enough to not make a test this time, but I had an interview with a company and they liked me, so they offered me a position. So don't underestimate LinkedIn. That was that's what I wanted to share my story.
Thank you, Mahan. It's so true that actually now on the 10th week of the bootcamp that is dedicated to the career week, we have a workshop on how to find a job on LinkedIn, because it's so important according to us. It's really where you can find jobs, find opportunities. And yeah, and just to give another little story, since I know a lot of stories at Le Wagon, related to what Steven said. I know another guy, Luciano, who's now the CTO of Provi, a tech company in Brazil. Before going on the entrepreneurship journey, actually, he was on the help channel on Slack. So for the students, it's a channel where you can post questions like, oh, I have this bug, can someone help me? And he started to help someone on the help channel. And then he started to help this guy more and more. And then at some point, the guy was someone in Paris, because the channels are international. So you can help people in Tokyo, Melbourne, all around the world. The guy said, hey, you help me so much. Do you mind if I hire you as a freelancer? No, I don't mind. Give me euros. He started to work as a freelancer. And then at some point started to work so much with them that they actually told him, hey, Luciano, we like you, come to Paris. We'll give you a working visa to come and everything. We want you to join the team. And at that time, he chose to go on the entrepreneurship route. And it showed up later that it was a great choice, because now it's a big financial company in Brazil. But still, I thought it was a very beautiful story that happened just 2 years ago. So it's crazy how much stuff you can do in just 2 years after Le Wagon. Anyone else would like to answer how they got their first dev job? Diogo, Yuri.
Well, I got my first job through LinkedIn as well. And the cool thing about LinkedIn is because in the beginning of the bootcamp, I didn't have LinkedIn. Because I wasn't working for 2 years. And then I didn't have nothing to show. So I didn't have a LinkedIn. I'm like, oh, that's not useful for me. And in the bootcamp, the people know you should definitely have a LinkedIn. So then I started to do my LinkedIn and just put all my portfolio that I have through the Le Wagon and start to present myself. And the people went to you. In the end, the people went to me. I did a lot of interviews, some of them was through LinkedIn, the people find me. But the one who I got the job and was the best company that I decided to go with is through LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is really a great tool even though sometimes the social media aspect of it is always a lot of people want to showing off and stuff like that, but you don't mind. It's a tool to you to get what you need. So use it like that. So you definitely use LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a great tool for what it is. So I'm one more voice to tell you how LinkedIn is important.
Love you, Diogo. Show your t-shirt. Who made an effort today to put Le Wagon t-shirt? Cute. Someone would like to add something else? No? Okay. We got a question on YouTube chat, and I thought it was a really interesting one from Jan, who's asking, I believe that no bootcamps in the world can actually teach you 100% of the skills you need. I agree with that. And he's asking you guys what skills you guys had to look for outside the bootcamp. What skills did you build, did you acquire after the bootcamp that were needed for the job market, for your job or something? I see you all thinking. Someone would like to answer?
I can add something about this because in my job, my boss, he said to me, he only hired me because he thought as my background, I had a good emotional deal how to do with bugging stuff. So for me, the most important thing, even more than code, is to emotional, not be surprised.
You mean like collaborating with people?
Yeah, it's kind of collaborating people, emotional intelligence.
Yeah. Oh my God, yes. I wish everybody would acquire this skill before Le Wagon even. Don't do it at the end of the Le Wagon. Any other skills that you can think of, guys?
Technical skills, if you want to work as a developer, you should study like testing. Le Wagon has a class dedicated to testing, like on the final days of the bootcamp. But of course, they can't like dedicate too much time to it, so it's just one class, and it's one of the kind of optional classes that we get at the end. And I'm sure that most people didn't pay too much attention to it because I didn't, and that really, pardon me for the use of the word, but that really fucked me up because in testing it's really important in the development like workflow and like to the market. So if you should pay attention to your testing classes and you should study it because you're gonna need it if you work as a developer.
Thank you, Pedro. Just to give a bit more background to Pedro's answer, testing is building a code that is here to actually test your actual code. Correct me, guys, you know better than me. And just to complete Pedro's answers too, I think it's not always mandatory because some companies are so big and have such big team of developers that some developers are actually dedicated to only building testing code. So it might happen that you don't need it, but for sure, most companies do, and most companies don't have that much HR resources that they can have testing developers. So it's for sure, it's a great class to have. And I think all the students now who have went through the bootcamp now can understand that the way the bootcamp is built, the last classes, of course, we don't expect you guys to master them completely because you're so involved in the project days that we know that you're not like fully paying attention, and that's okay. Like we like to see you fully involved in the projects too. But for sure, it's something you have to come back on after the bootcamp. Someone wanted to add something.
Yeah, about tests. Actually, in the end, you want to work in a company that takes care of her own code. You know, code is your tool. So if you start to do monkey patches, not doing the good practice, in the end, you will have a big problem. So if you have to pick, you always should pick a company that takes care for his own tool. Like if you see, it's a good sign if the people are testing, they really care that everything is right accordingly, right? It's very good. So that's a good sign for it. But going back to the questions, what was really important to evolve even more of the bootcamp was how to deal with the stress. In the bootcamp you get to deal with a lot of stress, but it's a kind of a different situation because you are a student and they have people there actually being paid off to make you work better, and they are available to you so you can evolve. But sometimes in your company, the people are busy. You don't have a teacher full time at your side asking, "Oh, what you need? Oh, are you good?" And you have to go for it. And you have all these different relationships that I'm pretty sure the people who already have a lot of story in different areas already have this part of his life very involved. But going depending where you coming from, you definitely should work on that. Like just like how Mari said, everything's about emotional intelligence, right? How to deal with different situations and how to get over it.
Thank you, Diogo. Tyler, you're raising your hand, I see.
Yeah, I just had a quick question. For those people that have done an in-class program, are there any advantages to doing the in-class program as opposed to doing it remotely? I mean, I imagine they'd be small since, I mean, we have things like Zoom and stuff like that. But for somebody like me who has pretty limited experience when it comes to this type of stuff, like this type of content, do you think there are any advantages to being in the classroom with other students?
Well,
Tyler.
no, that's a question for the current students. Or Bernardo, go for it.
Yeah, so I started the bootcamp on July. So we were in the middle of pandemic, so it was everything remote. And then in November, more or less, it started to open in the project weeks. We started to go there. So we had like a little bit of the two worlds, right? So I would say that in the class, like during really doing the exercise and everything, remote was like perfect, was working really good for all of us. And then when it came to project weeks, when we were together, we were like producing way more. We were, helping each other better. So I would recommend that if we can, like if the pandemic's a little better in the end of your bootcamp, like going in person is really good during the project weeks. Like our progress in one day was way better when we were together. We were discussing and what color are we going to do, what are we going to implement. So yeah, that would be my tip for you. But now I think you are still on the exercises, right? So I don't think that that's a big deal for now for you.
Yeah, because, I mean, from what I can tell, it sounds like obviously there's different degrees to which somebody is competent, like as a coder or developer or something like that. So, if I invest, in a full-time program and I'm going from 9 to 7, my thought is that it's going to be really hard for me to focus from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. for 9 weeks just by myself. I mean, some people are really disciplined like that, but I agree with you. I think that there are some significant advantages, and like you get kind of motivation from other people too when you're working in groups. And so yeah, thanks for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, honestly, like I did the part-time. So especially on Saturdays, like, when it's sunny and you are alone at your home, it's hard, man. If you are like in person at Wagon with other people, it's easier, to just go with the flow and work together. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you.
I know Berenice would like to add something on this matter.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, like, I know at the beginning of the bootcamp, when we were just doing exercise, people were more shy as well. Like, we were doing some work, but we were so shy to ask some questions because we didn't know the level of each other. We didn't know if, we didn't really know each other. But when the group starts, because I guess there is so many people who can't come to Le Wagon, even like at the end when it's gonna be the project. But in my group, I was with Bianca, who is here, and João, who he's not here tonight. But we really did a really great communication, and we were really talking about our struggle, we were really dividing the work really well. And I think maybe it would have been easier if we were all together, but if you have a really good communication, if you really like your group and if you really find a way to communicate, it should be like really all right as well. Well, I don't think you should fear it.
Cool,
That's also a question that the current students, David, Paula, Ruan, no, Ruan, you're at school, but also ones who are remote, like you can share your experience also. We can make a group therapy together. But what I was saying to the remote students, like the ones who had no choice, like when it was like a full pandemic, like we were not even allowed legally to open the school. You need these skills. The world out there now in the tech industry, it's remote. So when you show up to an interview and you say, I've learned how to code remotely, I think, yeah, like kind of show like you know how to code remotely for sure. Like you learned it remotely with your teachers, you collaborated with a group fully remotely. It's also something you can bring to the table when you have when you apply to a remote job. And I know it's a lot of people's dream right now to live remotely, the digital nomad life. So take it also as a challenge. Anyone would like to add something? Yes, Tyler. No.
I was just gonna kind of ask a different question, if that's okay, unless somebody had something to add. But so my second question was, for those people that did a program, was there anything that was like when you started or when you in the course of the program that you were surprised by, that you weren't expecting? That one thing I'm trying to
oh my God, guys, don't throw me under the bus, please. The bootcamp manager is crazy.
Besides that, no. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I'll just leave it there. That was my question.
Well, I got a good surprise by doing the bootcamp. So I was a student 2 months, like 10 hours, 12 hours a day of code before the bootcamp. And I bought all kind of materials and watched all the kind of class of different languages and so on. And I was baffled. I was super surprised with the quality of the course. I mean, like doing it and the support. And even now, sometimes I go back and to some of the classes, some of the resources, and I study again. And it's really good content, you know? So I was really surprised for what it is, because you got like, if you study by yourself, I think you get the same amount of the knowledge, like in 1 year, 2 years of studying. And you wouldn't have the best practice and how to work in a group and all of that. So it's like, it's very packed and good content in all in what it is. And like, I was really surprised. And everyone was like, oh, it's all right. It was studying. But since I was already studying before, I was like, no, you don't know, this is really good. So that's my feedback about it.
That's cute. Just to add something, Madalena, a student from a long time ago who couldn't be here tonight, who's Brazilian and who's now a project manager in Barcelona. She was telling me how even today, 2 years after finishing Le Wagon, she still comes back to the UI kit of Le Wagon to get the nav bars, the cars, like she still uses the kit. I was happily surprised. Anyone would like to add something about what they were surprised of when they started the bootcamp?
So just
don't mention me, guys.
What Diogo said, I think everyone says that, oh, you gotta do some project to learn how to code, right? You should start with a project. But when I was trying to learn how to code before the Wagon, I was like, how do I even begin like working on a project? You know, I was doing these Udemy courses that everything was already ready for me to do, and I didn't know how to begin. Okay, now I know HTML. How do I start a website? I have no idea. And then when you do the bootcamp and you start doing the project weeks, you see how much you can do. Like for me, it was 6 months, the part-time. And you can actually build a website with a domain, and you can send to your mom, your grandpa, and everyone can actually do that. So that's pretty cool. Like it's actually a project, a big project that you built that I didn't even know how to begin before. So I think that surprised me a lot.
I agree. I was doing an interview this week, and the one I had on the phone asked me like, "Oh, you did the bootcamp. What was your favorite part?" And I said it was the project weeks because I hated food delivery and Mr. Cocktail. No, Mr. Cocktail was okay, but the orange tree thing, that shit was crazy. Anyone was surprised about something else as you'd like to mention?
Yeah, I was surprised that when I was doing the Ruby week, I didn't get anything. Like most of it was like just variables inside arrays and all of that. But after I did the 2 days of reboot, those really helped me understand like almost everything, like 99%. That really surprised me.
I agree.
So
I'm an alumni also tonight. I can speak. I did the reboot days just to give some background to the ones who don't understand. Reboot days are 2 days during the bootcamp on the second week where we split the class in half. Half of the class who feel confident about their Ruby skills can work on harder challenges. And the other half who doesn't feel quite confident yet work with the teacher on some other exercise to make sure that they are confident. And I agree with David. When I was a student, I did the reboot days and it completely changed my bootcamp experience. Highly advised to do the reboot days. Who was adding something?
I just wanted to add a quick follow-up. It kind of goes into the question about what were you surprised about, and I think I'm kind of ignorant when it comes to this web development stuff a little bit. So my question was like, what makes like a really good developer from just like an average developer? Besides motivation, obviously, I know that's part of it and enjoying what you do, but like, is it just the technical X's and O's, or is it like, is it taking on more challenging projects to really flex your knowledge? That's kind of what I'm guessing it is. But you know, when I go through the course, I just want to be aware of like what I need to be focusing on to be like at least above average. I don't want to just go through the program and then kind of like a couple of people commented on, just like not really have it like retained. So if there's any pointers or tips for people like and specific things that can make you stand out, that would be really helpful for me. I know we've kind of talked about it already. So
no, go on, Pedro. Go on, Pedro.
No. You can start.
Okay. No, it's a little tip, but it's it's mandatory in your programming life. You need to be constantly curious. You need to be searching for new things. You need to focus in studying constantly, because a good developer, a good software developer, data science, anything of these fields of work, all the professionals are constantly studying new technologies, new solutions that fit their needs. Don't study just because this is a trend. Study because this suits you for something that you are working. It's kind of a device, a tip, but I think you get it, the message.
Yeah, I do. Thank you.
Pedro.
I think a good tip, especially as you're searching for your first jobs and everything, especially as a junior in a team, I think you gotta be like communicative and honest. So in interviews, you should like be honest and tell that you're like, I'm on a junior level, I'm taking my first steps. If you're in a team, you gotta like express your doubts, and you gotta try as much as you can to learn from people that are like above you on like the coding level, you know. Yeah, I think that's it. You should communicate and try to learn as much as you can from other people, and also be honest about like your own skills and don't be shy about asking questions and communicating with the other people.
Someone would like to add something?
Yeah, so just in this point of asking question, Tyler, you asked it like, how can you be above average even in the boot camp, right? So I would say that like open tickets, you know, to ask questions to teachers and to TAs. I remember that in the Ruby part, I was like a little proud, you know, I don't want to ask this question. I need to solve this alone. But then when I get to the front end part, I didn't have a choice. I had to ask questions, you know, and to open tickets. Actually like helped me a lot. Like the teachers really know a lot. They can give you some experience, like how this works in the real life, you know, what can I build with what I'm learning today. And I myself, like I asked questions even outside the class, you know, I just got in Slack and asking the teachers questions, some out of curiosity also. So I think you need to always ask questions, you know, be humble enough to ask questions, and you will only learn, you know. So it helped me a lot, like during the boot camp, this mentality.
Yeah, along those same
Again,
lines.
just to give some perspective about Bernardo, for the ones who don't know, a ticket is when you open a request for a teacher to come help you. We tend to forget that this is not a common language, right?
Yeah. So just to add what has been said about tickets, because most of people doesn't open tickets, and really for those people that are going now to the boot camp, open the tickets. I mean, that's like, it's good to develop the skill of searching yourself in the Google Stack Overflow and solve yourself the problem is very valuable. But like if you spend more than 50 minutes on the same problem and not go anywhere, call a teacher. You have something that doesn't exist in the real world. Someone's paying you to be at your side, to give you the best material, and to say, oh no, yeah, that you are thinking right. No, think about that, and kind of lead you on the right path. So you definitely should use this. And I realized, at least on my bootcamp, most of the people was afraid of open tickets. And when they discover that on only the last 2 weeks, that how good and how important was the tickets, they already lost the big part, the huge chunk of the cost without fully use their potential. So, and that's the real life. If you have a mentor, if you have a friend, if you have a guy from another team in the same company, you have to feel kind of like, oh, I should ask stuff. Like you have to develop this. It's not, I'm not dumb for not knowing. No one knows everything. But even the 2 minutes tip that he can give you, maybe will take you like 1 hour of trying to solve it by yourself. So that's really valuable.
Thank you, Joe. I feel like a crazy person when I do @channel on Slack, like open tickets. Like, guys, you're paying for a bootcamp to have amazing teachers. Use them, okay? I'm tired of pushing you.
Especially now, it's so great. There's only 6 of us. We're 2 teachers.
Yes. You have like the private teacher experience. You're very lucky.
And as we are talking Le Wagon's language, do your flashcards. Important too.
To give some background about your tip, flashcards is little definition, concept. At the end of the day, you have a question, you answer the question, it flips the card. It takes 20 minutes per day, but it's super important because it's definition, key concepts that you need to understand to do the practice. So students, do your flashcards. I can know who did not do it. And for the future ones, do your flashcards too. Awesome, Yuri. I almost forgot. Thank you. Anyone would like to add something? No? We have another question on the Slack from Jan. It's a question for the ones working for not Brazilian company. So US, France, like a company abroad, is asking how was it for you to find a job first, and second, how is it for you to adapt to a different cultural environment, different collaborative tools, perhaps? If you'd like to share your experience about that.
Can I
Yeah.
start? Okay. If you're Brazilian, I think at least that was my experience, because my first job was for a Swiss company, and it's really different. Like the work environment's much more. I mean, as a Brazilian, it's much more cold and like professional, strict, and hostile kind of.
Oh my God.
So I mean, no, because like I think as a Brazilian, you're more used to like people being
Casual.
less formal and less people are like more kind of friendly. I don't know. Brazilians are really like, oh, come here, yeah, and everything. You know. But so my first job at the Swiss company was really hard, and it was weird to me, because it was I was just not used to like the way they communicate and the way they deal with issues and everything. So yeah, if you're a Brazilian getting a job abroad, I think you have to. I think we say like Brazilians have the Brazilian way, o jeitinho brasileiro, because we try to do things our way, like we try to be informal about everything. And yeah, I mean, I think you won't be able to do that if you work for a company abroad. So be aware of that.
We have Ginga.
You won't be able to have Ginga outside of Brazil.
As a European, I feel offended by this speech. I think it's great to work for Europeans.
But you have a Brazilian soul, Milen.
Why do you guys think I moved to Rio?
You're the crazy bootcamp manager.
These Swiss people, they're so hostile. Berenice in front of me is a French girl. She's like, that's Switzerland for you. I hope no one is Swiss here. Anyone would like to add about the international experience they had with their tech job?
Okay, I can go.
Go, Marianne.
I found my job, my tech leader here in Alumni. And when they opened, she remembered me when the company was hiring. And how is to work with foreigners. In my small team, we are 4 people, so 2 Brazilians and 3 Americans. And we do a lot of jokes with each other, but in the whole company, it's more formal communication. And what was the other question?
It was like how you found this job abroad and the culture, company culture.
Yeah, how I found because I met my tech leader here in Alumni. And
oh my.
Yeah.
Take notes, current students. Your future boss is around here. Don't bitch their culture.
Oh my God. The culture, I think, not only Brazilians, but what I realized that in Latin Americans, we have a lot of creativity, and it's well appreciated abroad. We know how to solve problems in the way that the Europeans, is more square thoughts. And I think it's appreciated.
I don't agree. As a European.
I think European, to what I've been seeing, they are too conservative to deal with the problems. And I think that's what I see.
Well,
no, I agree.
I think we are drifting, but just to add, because my girlfriend, she's from England, right? And for what is Brazilians and Latin Americans, we are more chaotic than them. But it's good. It's a good like counterbalance because they are very odd. They like to follow the rule just like this. And when you bring some improvisation, it's a good mix, you know. So this kind of dance is a good skill. Of course, you have to dance to the song. You cannot be like, oh, I'm not going to follow the rules and so on. But if you can follow like that and bring your improvisation skills to it to solve problems, yeah, you can have the people will value you.
And now I'd like to change the question. Steven, as an American, how was it to work in Europe, in Berlin?
It was pretty great. I mean, I'm a pretty flexible individual, so I like working with different cultures, and that's why I enjoyed my time in Rio. But working with Germans, it was fine. They come to a small 5-person company, so it was more easygoing. We were just a small startup, so we weren't very strict like the Swiss. Yeah, I think
poor Swiss people.
Yeah, I think a lot of it depends on how big the company is. If you're joining a larger company, things are going to be more formal, and then there might be more like kind of processes involved, and then a smaller company is just things are maybe a little more easygoing, and it's easier to communicate with I guess everyone in the company because it's so small and it's more personal.
Cool. Okay, now let's beach on Brazilians. Mahan, who is Swedish and from Iran originally. How is it to be working with Brazilian developers in Rio as a Swedish person?
Yeah, the Swedish. Well, I've only worked with IT here in Brazil, but I've been working as engineering with the mechanical engineering in Sweden. What I would say was the biggest difference is that in Brazil you have much more fun at work actually, but yeah. But back in Sweden, the planning was much better. Like when you planned for a long time and you followed it. Here it can change from week to week. Like that's you need to be more flexible, more like tolerant with that part. But it's a matter of habit as well. So for me, it's easier to just follow a plan. But as I said, I'm having much more fun at work here than in Sweden.
Hey, Mahan, there's another question for you from Ruan. Ruan, you asked Steven, but Steven did not get a job in Brazil. He got a job in Europe. So Mahan, as a European, how was it to find a job in Brazil?
No, it was hard. It was hard. As I said, I was lucky enough that someone called me and I tried to expose myself as much as possible. But I applied for at least like a couple of hundreds, and especially during the pandemic that we were in, it was kind of hard. But once I started working, there's a lot of people actually from LinkedIn that they will call you, they will contact you, even people who need like more senior, just to chat with you and see who you are. If you sometimes if you know someone. So yeah. The different. Milan, what was your second question? You had a second question, right? I lost the topic.
Was it a hard process?
Yeah. No, it's more or less the same. It's more or less the same. It's not much hard. The process itself is not much harder here. I don't think so.
Yeah. For having a master degree in working visa processes in Brazil, everybody knows about my visa struggles. Ruan, you should just marry your Brazilian girlfriend, and that will make it very easy.
Yeah, that's the easiest way.
I'm not pushing you to get married, but yes, do it.
That is the easiest way.
Don't pressure me so much. Give me time.
Invite me. Le Wagon wedding. Guys, we have other people that I know must have questions. Andre, Fabio, Mario. If you have questions. Augusto, Felipe, current students who will be on the job market in just a few months. More questions?
Just getting the tips here. Thank you, guys.
Nice. Nice, nice, nice. I see the chat is answering some questions too. Let's see on YouTube.
I actually got a question, Mile.
Yeah, go for it.
That I was wondering, what exactly do you learn in the bootcamp of data science, and how can you apply that to your web development knowledge? For example, if you take both.
Oh my, the only person who can answer this question here, actually he left. I can answer this question.
Vinny.
It was Vinny, yeah. Did anyone work in data science a bit at their job and would like to answer? Like not even someone from who did the bootcamp. Anyone? Okay.
Well,
I can try to answer. Someone else wants to help me.
Well, before you go forward, because I didn't do the data science bootcamp, I did the web dev. But before I went to the Wagon, I was studying to be data science. My brother works in one of the representatives as Google. He's my twin brother, and he works as a data science. So it's pretty much our knowledge overlaps, you know? I'm more like towards database orientated. He has a lot of his own tools, but we can chat a lot, and a lot of things like is common. I can ask about, not now because I'm focused on Ruby, but when I used to use a lot of Python, sometimes it's very similar. In the end, it's like you get so much specialization that's in the end you have to totally focus. But the idea is the same. The character database is the same. The organization of the data, workflow is the same. You can use a Scrum, you can use Trello, Kanban, all of that. It's pretty much like you have a lot in common, you know? But just like if you go towards DevOps, or if you go towards UI design, in the end, it's different. You have to focus that, but let me say 70% of everything is pretty much the same. That's at least my perception, but definitely Melanie can talk more about it.
Okay, I will try. Me, I'm always very confused when I get someone on the phone and they tell me, oh, I'm hesitating between web dev and data science. Because for me, it's so different that it's like, oh, I'm hesitating between being a surgeon and being an engineer. Like, okay, there's some collaborative tools that are similar, but it's completely different jobs, different area of the company. Of course, they work together, but you will not have the same daily job at all. So I think if you're still confused today about which area you'd like to go to, make some research, like go on YouTube, like, oh, what's the daily life of a data scientist, data analyst, web developer? But to answer more precisely your question, David, data science is a good continuation of the web dev, because as you might have seen already, you cannot do the data science bootcamp without programming skills. So when I see someone who's interested in data science and has no programming skills, I'm like, game over, dude, like you cannot do it. It's not possible. So I know, for example, in the current data science bootcamp in Rio, I can put you in touch with them if you want. We have Vinicius and Thiago, who are both web dev students before. They did it to learn programming, and now they do the data science part to become to work in data, to become a data analyst. And they tell me like they wouldn't be so good in the data science bootcamp today if they didn't have the web dev part first. So it's very different, but for sure they are complementary. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
I will organize a happy hour with the data science and web dev class, and we'll make something happen. Questions? Dúvidas? Okie dokie. I see that all the questions were answered.
Oh, I just had one question. So did anyone maybe before, like, you know, had a previous job, did anyone go into the boot camp and then maybe go about, I don't know, taking an aspect of your previous job and trying to solve maybe like some sort of solution in your previous industry. Because that I worked, for example, I worked in environmental consulting, but I realized that in that area, it's very outdated. There's a lot of things that I knew the tools were out there to basically make like programs to make things more efficient in the consulting area, but I just didn't have the skills. Like I just knew about the tools because I have some friends who are developers.
Who would like to answer?
Well, I work in a consultant job right now, so we can pretty much talk a lot about this. What it is, like, even though if you're not going towards the technical part of it, like just put your hands in your codes, it's very good to have the knowledge about it. You can at least grasp how complex is the idea, because I don't know how your company works, but I believe it's just kind of like the same. You always look like have huge demands in short time. You always want to have a big delivery of features to get more money and stuff like that. And sometimes the people from the managing or they're not technical, they are trying to overdo. They try to like ask for not feasible things. So you can have a better relationship with the technical team because you know what they are doing. And overall, even though if you're not going towards that path, that's a good, definitely a good skill to have. You know, how to code and how the things actually works. And definitely you can even do more. Like you can definitely spend your time seeing an opportunity inside your company. You say like, oh, you know what, maybe we need a system here. You know what, no, this system is not behaving properly. So you definitely can bring more to the table.
Yeah, because like I guess as you're familiar, like, you know, in consulting, it's billable time is very valuable, and so if you can optimize that time, I think solutions, bringing like software and different solutions would be great.
Anyone would like to add something?
Having the, any background you can relate to the job definitely helps out during the interview. I had a background in accounting, and one of the positions I applied for was for some accounting software, and it was definitely got me probably an offer from that company, but in the end I decided to do something else. But it helps because as a junior developer, your skills aren't quite advanced yet, so it's nice to have the prior background to lean on.
Yeah, one of the guys from my batch, Bruno Mileni, knows who he is. He was a lawyer before like doing the bootcamp, and I think his first job as a developer, he partly was hired because he had a law background. Like the guys from the startup that he was working on, they liked the idea of him having a law background because his startup also deal with like law stuff. So it was actually like a plus. And I think anything that you can bring like to the table, like Steven said, it's a good thing. For example, like I always express that I had a graphic design background because that actually like helps me with front end sometimes. Like I already had like notions of like colors and like visual elements, so it's nice like to bring your skills. Like the job that I have right now, like during the interview, one of the guys, he was checking my LinkedIn profile, and when I was younger I used to like have a YouTube channel, and I also had a podcast.
Oh my god, where is this going?
And I also had a podcast, and he was like, oh, I'm seeing here that you had a podcast and YouTube channel. Like, yeah. Like, oh, did you write your videos? And I was like, yeah. Did you edit your videos? And I was, yes. They're like, oh, you did everything on your channel and on your podcast? I was, yes. Oh, that's so cool. Like that shows that you like try to learn everything, a little bit of everything, and you try to like you get involved in all the process of the things that you're creating. So I definitely think that was like a really positive thing. I used to be a YouTuber, the review. Yeah, man. Yeah, but yeah, so like who would have thought that like having a YouTube channel when I was younger and or a podcast would have helped me like to get a developer job, but it did. So yeah, you should always bring like your experiences and skills on the table.
You have a very YouTuber demeanor when you say.
For sure. I would take
it.
that as a compliment. Thank
No,
you.
it's great.
Subscribe, hit the smash button.
Hit the notification button, yeah.
Hit the bell. I have no idea. Yeah, I cannot agree more with what you just said, Juan. The most successful people I've seen after Le Wagon are the ones who made like a mix with their background and their new skill. And I'd like to talk about Taylor. I think the ones who come often to the alumni night will remember her. She couldn't come today, but she usually comes. She's American. She did the bootcamp in Rio. She used to be like a production assistant for Netflix. Super cool. Like she has a big creative filmography background. And when she went back to Los Angeles, she found a job as a creative technologist. No idea what it means, but basically she was working for a creative agency, creating a technical solution for their clients. So like mixing code and creativity, I don't know. And another example on how she made a mashup of all her skills, and like she got super well paid, a great position, great company, because she like came with so much things on the table, you know. And to add again something else, when I have HR recruiters coming to me to ask for Le Wagon students, I always ask them like, why do you come to me? Why don't you go to a computer science degree and ask for the students? And often their answer is either more soft skills, like they know how to collaborate, they are nice, curious people. So it's always nice for a team. And second is because they have a different background. They have something else than just computer science students, something else to bring to the table, you know? They have experience in engineering, business, marketing, so they know how the company works, you know? And I think people are tired of factory workers, coders who cannot communicate, you know? It's so important right now to have these soft skills. Anyone want to add something? For the ones who are still on YouTube, I see that some people are still there. I sent on the chat, if you just scroll down a little bit, oh, I'm such a YouTuber. If you just scroll down a little bit, you will see it. I put the link for this Zoom call because we'll be stopping the live soon, because we're gonna move on to the happy hour section, and we cannot be showing this live because this is not a family-friendly show. So see you guys. Oh my God, Diogo, don't take off your t-shirt, please. Or please do. In 5 minutes, we're stopping the live stream. The link for the Zoom is in the